this time, I'd like to give Reverend Shelton. Reverend Shelton is a very active member of this community, the NAACP, and I don't know who's the he or Mr. Churchwell at this point, but we appreciate him, and he has brought quite a bit to the table on this issue for some time, and I would be remiss if he did not have the opportunity to address some of the.
When I thought about the question or the statement the President made that I guess ridiculous or insane for someone who makes the kind of profit that they're making, and then look for someone else to help them pay for it. And then I heard what Senator Hanson said, and I thought about sometimes there has to be a compelling reason. And he gives the example, which I thought was a good example, of young people driving and talking on their cell phone or texting, because so many have died because of that. And so you get a lot of the newspaper and a lot of articles on it, and so that draws attention to it. I think in some kind of way we're going to have to try to generate some kind of movement, whereas a number of people gets behind the movement, and sometimes people are compelled to be able to do it. I think about, was it Verizon or somebody was going to add a $2 surcharge or something, and some lady got really upset about it, and I think millions of people are sending things to Verizon, and so Verizon, not necessarily because they thought so much about their customers, that they retracted because there was a compelling reason. And so I think the thing that we need to try to figure out, what is it, rather than looking on their good nature or the betterment of humanity, sometimes you have to bring pressure to someone to encourage them to do the thing that is right.
Thank you, Reverend Shelton. Commissioner Bill Gill, member of this, the Muskegon branch NAACP, and he's been part of this community for some time and this issue. We yield the floor to Commissioner Gill.
Madam Chair, I take this as a personal privilege. I'm going to take a personal privilege and support Mr. Churchwell in the educational part. We need more than just an education. I have a friend, well, most of you might know him, but he put an ad on the Super Bowl. It was derogatory. And I thought he had been educated enough. He'd been in Congress a long time. But he did something that was really out of line. And I want all the senators and the representatives that have access to printing, because Pete Hoekstra did make some copies of our Constitution. And we need to talk about our Constitution and implementation of it, especially the 13th Amendment. Since any person in this country, see, I'm a citizen of this country by conquest and birth. Excuse me. I went to war for this country. So that makes me a citizen by conquest and birth. But I'd like for the state reps or citizens to.
If I get the right kind?
No.
I'm sorry.
What is it?
It's life water.
Where?
It's wet. Flavor and a color.
I don't drink water. I'm an old person. I have old pipes and water rush your pipes that break. I don't want that. But nevertheless, Pete Hoekstra printed some constitutions. I think everybody, state reps, Congress, state advisors, need to read our Constitution. because in 2004, there was a report where Michigan was an apartheid state. That hasn't changed very much. Right now, we're still in that same mode. Otherwise, Pete Hoekstra wouldn't have put that ad out. So education is very important. Now, whether you go to school and get your education or not, or whether you get it out in the streets, education is important. So if one of you congressmen or senators or state legislators would have some constitution printed, then read it, then bring some to this committee. Because Hoekstra had a whole pile of them. I should have brought some out here, but I didn't. But this is important to us now. The Constitution of the United States is the most important document that we have. And if you go into the Constitution and check on the 13th Amendment, that the poorest, the least American citizen is entitled to everything in that Constitution. And that's what we're talking about here. The people that can't help themselves, that need some support from us. We are talking about a money thing. Life cannot be bought. Citizenship cannot be bought. You have to earn it in this country. And that's my thing to you, is get a Constitution of the United States of America and read it. If you don't do anything but check the 13th Amendment, please do that. Thank you.